question I have is, all right, so when you hear commentary in the media, right, not just in the Caribbean, but also in America and across the world, people try to downplay the effects on slavery on the modern day experience of people of African descent, right? And in your view and in your studies, how has slavery impacted the family structure, especially in Jamaica?
Well, one of the obvious ways slavery impacted the family is that Black people were not expected to have families during the period of enslavement. You as a man, you are in love with a woman on one estate, then decide to pick you up and send it to our next estate. You can't say, me carry my girl with me, you know. So that's the end of that relationship. And you have stories of men walking whole night from one plantation to get to our next plantation to see their woman, you know, that they refuse to break the relationships. And when you think that nowadays, when people have the freedom to, you know, entertain each other, to you know, really show their affection, we take it light, you know, we don't really recognize how much effort our ancestors put into maintaining family structures. So that is one thing. We were not expected to have families because we're not seen as human. We're seen as animals. And animals don't have family as far as white people are concerned, or European colonizers. They didn't expect us to have ties of kinship. So there were people who resisted, but I believe that that kind of pathological family structure developed from that period where you know, sex was transactional. You know, you do a little thing and you maybe have a child, and next thing the child is owned by the plantation owner as a commodity too. So that is why you have a writer like Toni Morrison doing a brilliant novel, Beloved, where this woman kills her child because she doesn't want the child to become a slave. So the family became dysfunctional, I believe. And even in freedom, some of us are carrying forward that legacy. You know, another aspect of the dysfunctionality is that traditional African societies, particularly say like West Africa, where most of our people come from, had polygamy. But polygamy was not a system where you just walk street and collect woman. First of all, you had to be a man of substance to be able to have more than one wife. You know, if you could not provide for the woman, you couldn't take up a wife. Now, many of our men in the diaspora in this period are trying to do polygamy on a budget. You can't do it that way. If you cannot afford it, forget it, you know. So that this is one of the problems. So they have nothing to offer one woman and them running down all 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus, in many African cultures, and particularly I think in the Muslim parts of Africa, it's only the limit of women you could have was 4. So that was your maximum, 4. And the women understood their place. The senior wife had the most status. And, you know, if you think of how the family structure was physically manifested, you would have several people on the same compound, and the children of each wife would sleep in her hut. And then the man has his own hut, and then he would move around in a systematic way. It's not just you are the young wife now and you just dust out the other wives. You have to respect the senior wife. So, you know, we don't understand it. So that family structure, we have brought it here, but in a sort of distorted way, because we have ancestral memories of polygamy, but we're not doing it the right way.
I know an important question where I want to ask based on this topic. You know, like majority of people will kind of discredit the whole reasoning based on the fact that certain things, many people say that certain things that were carried over from slavery and certain conditioning should be left behind now that we are so-called free, without understanding the relationship between then and now. What would you say to people like
what
that?
Things you're thinking of?
Like, for example, in terms of the relationship where, like in a Jamaican culture, the relationship with have enough girl and girl in a bungle type of culture, and many people say come off of the slave plantation. As you said, we were not seeing...
come off of no slave plantation.
Yeah, so we want to clear up the misinterpretation there where many people have.
as I said, in Islamic culture, the limit was 4. So you couldn't have no one for gal in a bongo. But part of it, you see, you have to look at masculinity. What happened to the black man during enslavement? You were robbed of your power, robbed of your agency. Yes, you had people who never gave in. People like Sam Sharp who said, I prefer them kill me. I prefer to be hanged than to live as a slave. So there are people who maintain this sense of themselves and their sense of agency and power. So those kind of men now don't need gal in a bongo to feel like man.
True.
But there are some insecure men now who feel that their status, their power is determined by how many women that they can collect. And I don't see how this is empowering, because you have these whole heap of women, and not only do you have gal in a bongo, you have picnic in a bongo. And plenty of the men cannot mind the whole heap of picnic. So, you have all these children, you're a dysfunctional father. How does that make you feel powerful? So I think it's the self-concept of the black man that has been harmed by enslavement. And so sexual potency now becomes one of the ways in which you can exert your manhood, literally your hood. And so you don't focus on other aspects of masculinity, the intellect, what you can think, what you can create, that is not just physical or sexual. So I think that is part of the legacy of enslavement, the attempt to turn human beings into animals. And some of us just gave into our animal instincts and didn't really try to resist at a certain level that identity that was forced on us.
Thank you for watching I Never Knew TV. Please subscribe, comment, like, and